ForPosterity, the podcast with Aaron Michael Fox and Eric Crusan is starting now.
All right, welcome to ForPosterity, the podcast with Aaron Michael Fox and Eric Crusan. I'm sorry, I did it again.
I can say my name.
I did it again. I'm sorry. This is ForPosterity with Aaron Michael Fox and...
Oh, Eric Crusan.
And two guests right now. We've got Mr. Ian Nolte.
Hello.
And Mr. Nate Cesco.
Hello.
And we're supposed to have Jeremy Moore on the show. But Jeremy's not here. Jeremy says he'll call in about 20 minutes to tell us what's going on. So we'll check in with him then. So welcome, everybody.
I mean, ideally, he'll be here by showtime, right?
Usually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got. I'm assuming he's stuck at work or something, because the way he was talking about this on Facebook, I don't see him missing for anything that's not super important.
You should definitely remember that it's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see
We've
it
reminded him enough.
So this is a long time coming, really. By that I mean a week, which is a long time in ForPosterity terms.
That's a lot. That's
In
a lot of
internet
pre-production
time,
for you
too.
guys.
Yeah, that's a long time though for pre-production. Yeah. So this was, I guess, last Wednesday that we first called you guys up and even had this idea. Just the idea to have you guys on our show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That elaborate idea.
And that's and
It's a really
Outside-
original idea, too. Who ever thought guest on a show?
yeah. Really.
I don't know if this is going to take off.
All right, so we'll start with you, Nate, since this is your show that you put together tonight. This is a comedy mashup, right?
Yeah, it's a
so
mashup.
Explain for us what the mashup is.
The mashup.
And this is a regular thing, or this is...
This is going to be the regular thing. Yeah.
Okay.
This is the first time, but yeah, it's we're going to combine stand-up comedy and sketch comedy. We've filmed a couple pre-recorded sketches. They're going to play in between acts.
All right, so tonight's the first time we're going to see...
If it fails. Yeah.
And it will. It's the first time, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That's a horrible thing.
The first time of something should
I'm so negative about it.
it should always be bad the first time, right?
No!
Yeah, the best you can hope for is like someone to say, "Yeah, I see what you were going for."
Yeah.
That's really good feedback.
That is pretty good feedback your first time.
Yeah.
Somebody said that about my life.
Yeah.
See what you're trying to do.
That's what you're going for. That show got canceled.
And Ian, this is a big set for you tonight. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'll let you explain it, why it's a big night.
Oh, it's decided. Nate asked me several months ago if I would do like a
If you
feature
quit,
set.
if you quit doing
Please
comedy.
Yeah.
Please quit telling these jokes.
So I looked at opportunities that I wanted to do for a while. It's just like the past year or so, there have been a lot of stand-up shows. So I've been doing kind of my act a lot.
I know.
And I feel like I've reached the saturation point with the number of times I can invite people out to see it.
Okay, well, here's my question. How much money have you made from this act?
From this act,
Yes.
I've made about $425.
See, that is not the time to retire material.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see now why you feel that stupid.
You're supposed to wait until people quit paying money
Yeah.
to see it.
Oh, well, they were never paying money.
We seem to be on different pages with show business, Ian. I'm at least asking for the money. I'm just
Yeah.
not getting any.
I do it a lot of times for free, or just for fun. And
Fun? Just for fun?
That's why. That's a good reason to do it.
so now it's like
I think I remember fun.
one more time with these jokes, and then clear the decks for 2016.
So this is your I'm telling you for the last time,
Yeah.
right? And I disagree with Seinfeld for doing that too, by the way.
Oh, Seinfeld says you should have an act, and you
Yeah.
should always have. Like,
And I feel like he kind of just did that. He retired everything just to do it,
yeah.
prior style.
Seinfeld
then-
is doing something way different than what I'm doing, which is just telling the same jokes over and over to the same people.
Well, he's
See-
also being worth $800 million.
That's also true.
Then
Yeah.
there's that.
Because I feel like we've got
425 was it?
Yeah, I think, like most Americans, I'm worth negative
That's-
money right now.
$425. That's the decimal point. That's the end. But you and Crusan are basically the exact polar opposites then as comics. because Eric can't do the same joke the same way twice.
Yeah.
And he can rarely do the same joke twice.
Well, that's really funny because we came back.
I'm actually trying to start to do that now. Though. Like I'm trying to work out stuff.
That's funny because I'm trying to do more like Crusan because we came back for another round of open mics in the fall, and I just said to myself, I'm going to be more like Crusan. I'm not going to be scripted. I'm not going to have a plan. I'm just going to go up there and play around and see what I make happen.
Jamie Lee Curtis, Lindsay Lohan kind of swapped.
Yeah, it was like we were peeing in the same fountain and got hit by lightning.
That's the reference you picked?
It was either that or Kirk Cameron and Dudley Moore. Like that's
Yeah.
What was the Disney movie? There was something along those lines too. Sisters Switched or something.
that happens with everything.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh no, there's a rich American film tradition of mind switch comedy. Perhaps me and Eric are trapped in one.
I still have to do new stuff. Like if I got 5 minutes, 3 of it has to be something I've never said before. And then
Yeah.
This is not.
and
the
then
time.
something that
Except the
works.
time you did
No,
the
this-
same joke
I
multiple
knew
times.
that Damn it!
I understand you're supposed to work out the same joke multiple times.
I was just working out the punchline. That seems more important to me than the setup.
Yeah. It was a good 5 minutes. It was actually 2 minutes, but it's a good 5 minutes.
All right, now I got to jump in because I'm excited to hear this story myself, Eric. Eric, what's the gist? You were almost raped by a crackhead last night.
Where,
no, what happened?
nobody was almost raped. I said murder. Murder is not
Okay.
near rape.
Okay.
Well, it's up to
I knew it was.
It's
Yeah.
things you shouldn't do.
Yeah, I knew it was
You
a
can always
serious
be
crime.
first one than the other.
Thanks.
Which one first? Out of curiosity.
All right, I was leaving Black Sheep last night, and I was going back to 4th Avenue, and I was walking down, and this guy yelled across the street. He said, "Hey, I'll give you a shot of liquor for a cigarette." I said, "Okay, that's fine, whatever."
That sounds about square.
Yeah, that sounds. So I gave him a cigarette, and he pulls out this old, this vodka bottle, and I was like, "No, I'm good. Actually, I've had enough to drink tonight." And I thought we were going to go our separate ways, but no, he decided to walk right beside me like we were best friends.
Yeah.
Like we'd known each other forever. Like he was just.
Do you remember that time
We
that I
could've
took a
locked-
cigarette from you?
He just
I almost expected him to say that, but then he just kept saying stuff like how he was a junkie. He just was telling me this openly, like.
we've made that connection already.
Did he? Out of curiosity, did he say junkie? Did he say?
No, he said
did
junkie. Well, that's what his family thinks of him.
Yeah.
They think he's a junkie.
What does he think?
Oh, so
He knows
he was
he's a junkie.
opening up to you.
Yeah, but then he said, "I don't know why I'm scratching like this." And he's like, "Oh yes, I do. I took a Suboxone earlier." And then he proceeded to tell me what Suboxone was used for. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I know what that is.
He says that's like the opiate blocker, right?
That's the drug they give meth addicts to get them off of meth."
Yeah.
But he was like, "Suboxone is much better. Like it gets you higher than the meth does, and then you feel productive." And I'm like, "All right." He said, "It's not like when you take a big hit of heroin."
You can't compete
Wow.
with big pharma.
He just told me that.
What is productive to him, though?
Yeah, because he's like, it's not like when you take a big hit of heroin. And I was like, "Oh,
Oh, that's so relatable.
this is the part where he stabs me because he thinks I have money."
Yeah.
That's what I thought this was leading to the whole time. Like, come on, Adam, because he's picking me up like anytime now.
He just
This is his MO. He gets to know
swoop in,
you.
and Adam Culver to swoop in your minivan and save me.
You would have gotten to any minivan at that point.
Yeah. Where are those Klan hoods? I'm in. Scoot over, Bubba.
I like the I'm a junkie play a lot better than the I just need gas money.
No, yeah, he was
play.
very honest. Like,
Yeah, I've given money to people just for saying, I'll be
Because he was
honest,
upset that
give
he
me
couldn't-
$5 to buy a drink.
he didn't have money to do more drugs. That's the point when I thought I was going to get stabbed. Because
Yeah.
he brought up the fact that he didn't have money to get more drugs. And I was like, oh, okay.
I don't have money, but I do have this
Yeah,
knife.
I have 30 cents. And had this happened today, I would have had a sharpened candy cane that I could have stabbed him in the neck with, and probably still finished the candy cane because this thing is amazing.
I'm trying to remember who always tells this joke. A friend of mine thinks it's so clever. Every time he tells it like it's the first time, saying that this guy came up to me and asked me for $5 to get something to eat, and I said I'll give you $5 on one condition, that you get a drink because you look like you need a drink. and he thinks it's so funny every time. At least 20. I can't remember who offhand, but yeah, like 20 times I've heard that same joke. Like, oh well.
Well, there was a point in time it was funny.
I don't think it ever really was that funny. Maybe in the moment, if he actually did that, it would have been funny. But there's no retelling of it that's funny.
In the moment, as he was emotionally abusing that homeless person,
Yeah.
it was probably hysterical. In the retelling, yeah, it does lose something.
Yeah, it does something.
How is that candy cane mixing with that beer? Is that a good complimentary?
It's not bad because it's a Warhead candy cane, because it's sour all the time.
Oh, okay.
Which is why I'm addicted to it. Oops.
Yeah.
Broke my phone again.
Still waiting on.
Ian thinks it sounds horrible.
Yeah, the Warhead. That's scared. I'm scared of that stuff.
You're scared
I
of
think as a
sour
kid I was
candy?
traumatized. There was that little picture of that guy, that face, his head was exploding.
I don't think it can be
Nuclear
as bad
bomb.
now that you're an adult, though, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you tried it since you've been?
Yeah, I don't-
You've never tried a Warhead.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't like
That's
it.
why he
That's how I know. Is I ate one once and said, I don't like this. I don't think I'll do it anymore.
I was totally going to volunteer Eric's candy cane. Like, you should lick Eric's candy cane. Like, just go for
Yeah,
it.
you should
I'm
probably
not
never
really
do
on a schedule. I gotta try Warheads every so often to see if they change.
Are they still gross?
It's fine.
Yep.
It's fine.
Your skin syphilis isn't contagious, is it, Eric?
Nah.
Okay. was that the end of the crackhead rape story?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. I mean,
Because we got derailed there.
well, he saw somebody else that he knew, thank God, and then he went that way.
He was just trying to get away from you.
He probably knew I was going to kill him.
Oh, okay.
I guess. Like, I know I felt like he was going to stab me, but I was really.
I love how matter of fact you said that. Because I just walked into a store. I told you this yesterday. Just walked into a store a couple days ago, and the door's right by the cash register. So as soon as I walk in, there's a guy sitting there talking to the cashier, and they both turn and look at me as I walk in. We kind of just nod, and I go, and I hear the guy at the cash register just jumps back into his story, apparently mid-thought, and goes, yeah, you could straight cut a motherfucker in half with a Tommy gun, and it's totally legal. and I hear the cashier go, no, I'm pretty sure that's still manslaughter. And the guy goes, no, the way the law is written, if it's 3-on-1, should be 2-on-1. But if it's 3-on-1, you can straight cut him in half with a machine gun, and it's legal. And the guy's like, yeah, you should try that then. And the guy, 100% serious, just goes, yep, the way my life's going, probably gonna happen, man.
The way my life's going.
And I still don't know, what the setup was.
How did you not follow him to see what happens?
And I couldn't believe the balls on the cashier for questioning this story in any way. Like, no, I'm pretty sure that's manslaughter. No, I'm pretty sure you should just let him say whatever he wants to say.
If it doesn't get cleaned through, then it's not. It is manslaughter.
Yeah, it's got to go. It's got to go straight through.
This little
Yeah.
bit's still sticking
It's
out.
got to go
I love
straight
anything.
through.
It's got to be a Tommy gun.
You gotta love anything.
What?
That's the only kind of conversations that.
What's going in your life where you're like, I got a lot of Tommy gun business right now?
Well, I'm still trying to wonder. I'm trying to figure out what the scenario is that led up to this. Like, is he just a vigilante with a Tommy gun, just walking around waiting for 3 people to jump one guy? Is he does he have street fights regularly happening in front of his house, and he just sits on the porch going, I've had enough of you people.
1, 2, 3, we're good. Does he
I'm
have
going to give you to the count of 3 because you're ugly, yellow, lying, no good. What's the monologue from Home Alone?
Is he like
1, 2.
nah, man, my buddy's got a yacht. We take it out to international waters. You can straight cut a guy in half with a Tommy gun. It's all good. We just wash him over the side of the deck and keep sailing.
That's it.
That's the part you
That's
miss.
the part. I've been wondering this whole time. How did we get to the 3-on-1 Tommy gun? That's it. It's the yacht.
Once they've hit you 4 times, it doesn't matter what you do.
Anything. What the hell? Did somebody just turn over a refrigerator?
Yeah, that's
Here's an actual conversation I heard yesterday while we were getting cigarettes.
I just turned over a refrigerator.
I'll kill you and your mama.
kill you.
That's not a conversation.
It was a sentence, but that was the whole thing. Like, that's all that was said.
Okay.
Was I'll kill you and your mom.
Again, no prior context for them.
No, that's all it was saying.
And Eric,
What if
Eric
they would have brought up a Tommy gun?
I didn't look though.
Yeah, he didn't even pay any attention.
So I don't know if he was actually doing it or she just shut the fuck up.
I'm buying him cigarettes. We'll throw this out there because apparently Eric doesn't have an ID that works.
No, I have an ID.
You don't have an ID.
It's expired.
How do you conduct yourself as a man?
He doesn't.
No, don't do that either. I need a fucking candy cane.
I got just enough
I'm eating a
government
candy cane
paperwork.
and I'm drinking a PBR in a fucking storeroom. Sitting beside Hunt's sauce and jars of pickle chips.
Yeah, this is, we set out to record this episode at the Huntington Ale House. Shout out to the Huntington Ale House for letting us record here. But we found out when we got here, there was a large party that had rented the room before the show. So we've found the only quiet place that we can get a somewhat clean audio track. So we're crammed very intimately into a pantry at the moment.
Yeah,
we're pretty much knee to knee in here.
It's a straight up non-customer facing space. It's really crammed in here. A lot of behind the scenes action. You see exactly what brand of jalapenos they use.
It's like that scene in The Shining. That's what I feel like we're in. Like if Stanley Kubrick could have a budget.
This is some type of metaphor for how our lives are going for being in a stockroom.
That is a lot of sugar.
You'll be the
Holy
winter
crap,
caretaker at the
that
ale
is-
house.
How much flour do they go through here, too?
A lot, man. That's a lot of flour.
We can't be running on fumes if we're already talking about what's in the pantry. That's a good amount of flour you got there, boy.
Banana peppers, pizza sauce.
It really is nice digs here, though. Maybe we'll post a selfie shot or something for social media, because this is something. But this is another one. Eric and I were we met yesterday to work out
For the first time.
to work some of this out, and basically ended up kind of burning all of our material to each other.
That's good.
So, like I said, we were just chatting about this one yesterday, that I was going to throw out, what's the first joke that you heard that you remember, like an awful joke that you can't believe that you laughed at? Like, from in a non-comedy setting, kind of a kid joke, adolescent joke. I'll go first just to get the conversation rolling here, and then I went to the other side of the refrigerator. This goes back to, I believe, 7th grade. First time I met this kid. His name's Casey. I'll leave his last name out because I think he's an attorney now. And he tells me, this is the joke. He says,
calling that one.
we've just met, and he tells me, like, this is like his joke, like, to see how sick you are, more or less, if you can hang out in this group. And I believe the setup is that there's a serial killer walking through the woods with a kid by the hand, and they're just walking through the woods, going deeper and deeper into the woods. It's getting darker and darker until finally the kid looks up and goes, I'm starting to get pretty scared here. And the killer looks at him and says, "You're scared? I got to walk out of here alone."
Oh, yeah. That's a good joke. Quality. It's rock solid. Yeah. I think
And that's the most offensive joke he's ever heard, growing up in West Virginia.
yeah.
I didn't say most offensive. I said the first that I laughed at that made me go, that I repeated. That
When I was in elementary school, they always used to play that game where you like put your fingers together like this, like you interlace,
the Spock thing.
and then you go like this, and then they go like this. And I think the idea is,
It's supposed to be something disgusting.
yeah, it looks like a vagina. I think.
Is that it?
But I had no idea. No one ever explained it to me. So they'd always open up their hands and be like, "Oh my god!" And they're like, "You do it, you do it." And then I'd look and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I get it. I'm right with you guys. We're right here together." It took me years of wondering why we did that before I was like, "Oh, I think I get it now."
It's a vagina.
I finally got my hands on a medical textbook. That's what those guys were doing.
This is the time before you can Google what the fuck am I doing with my hands.
Oh my god, that was like the Dark Ages now.
Yeah, you just had to assume a lot of things or be wrong.
Yeah, you had to have. They had to be dictionary worthy.
That just describes now. Just assume whatever.
No,
want to be wrong.
Check.
If you didn't have an older sibling or an older cousin or if it was a dictionary worthy, you just had to pretend
Yeah.
you couldn't.
There were things you'd just be like, well, I'll just wonder about that for the rest of my life. Never be satisfied.
Yeah, and
That's what
like
it's
that
like to be a human being.
that was a comfort. Like you were just accepted it back then. You just that's amazing. I can't live with that, or I guess we can't.
Yeah.
Now
Well-
it's got to Google it.
Well, only
Yeah.
the most educated of scientists will know this. And I'll just wonder.
We're
But
getting off track. Does anybody have a joke that they heard that was horrible?
are you
No.
new here? Getting off track is
Yeah,
what
we're
we
getting
do.
off track.
No, I don't know. I grew up in that weird age when the internet was just becoming popular, so it was a lot of just like terrible dead baby and Chuck Norris jokes.
Oh,
It's just terrible.
Oh.
That
you
was
were a young man during the Chuck Norris era.
yeah,
All of us. Oh.
that was my middle school
Dark
years. So.
times.
Yeah, what's red and green and what was it? Red and green and something frog in a blender was the punchline. Like,
Yeah, pretty much a whole bunch of people
What
just
the hell
made.
was wrong with white kids? That was a thing? That was
no,
a
it
joke?
was. I thought it was stupid then.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the thing. But everything ended with something in a blender.
Yeah, pretty much it was just they retook every joke in the history of mankind, and then just made it arbitrarily fit into something being in a blender or a bag of dead babies.
Yeah, yeah.
That was it. That was comedy gold in whenever I was in 7th grade, which would have
Dead
been.
babies is comedy gold.
I'm trying to think because we had
White
a
people
couple.
are so weird.
I had a
Yeah,
friend, and he was a very weird friend. He had these baggy trip pants, and he wrote.
No, he wasn't weird though.
he wrote in bleach down them dead babies and wore them just to
That's
see.
horrible.
He wore them for like not like a month straight, but like repetitively throughout like month. And somebody was like, "You can't wear those." Say dead babies.
Finally?
Yeah, I think
Was
we were
this-
in like choir class
Yeah,
or
was
something
this
like that.
pre or post Columbine? Out of curiosity.
This would have been post Columbine.
Wow, you're
Yeah.
taking a big risk
Yeah.
there.
Dead babies.
I wanted
Wow.
to bleach my pants to say dead baby. That is what it's like to be 16.
Yeah, that is.
Quintessentially.
Yeah,
No,
that's
it's not. That's what it's like to be a 16-year-old white kid. That's what they do.
Is that a real privilege that white people get? Let's buck the social norms.
no white people have to. We got to figure out a way to oppress ourselves.
Oh, that's right.
So we got to turn ourselves into social outcasts for a few years.
No one gets me. I wrote dead babies on my pants, and now nobody likes me.
Yeah.
It's almost as hard
I can't imagine
being a
why.
minority.
All that oppression equals this.
So how about you black people? What do you do, Eric, when you're 16?
Oh, you know, normal father, children, and smoke weed. That's what we did. I got the first part down pat. No babies.
Well,
It's good.
I use
It is good.
weed for birth control. I use
No, it
it for
wasn't that.
everything I can, man. I use it.
I
Some
used
people call-
weed to not think so much. I used awkwardness as birth control.
I've always used weed as actually the opposite of birth control, more or less. Like, for basically all of college, that was my excuse to get a girl back to my apartment. Was, hey, weed.
Yeah, we.
You ever think you might be attracting the wrong kind of woman? That's the only technique. Hey, you want to come back to my pad and do some drugs?
That's
I wouldn't until he said weed.
I was really on the I was on the fence about it, but it sounded like he had $8 worth of weed.
This guy's doing well. I didn't know how to meet anybody that didn't smoke weed in college, though. Like, that was pretty much my circle, was if you didn't smoke.
It became like a hello. Weed?
More or less, yeah. Like,
This is
I mean, first off, if you didn't go to the bar, we couldn't be friends at all. Like, it's just this friends just shot down. And then within the bar scene, if you're one of the ones that goes out back, you know, that can recognize the eye contact, like when the stoners, everybody
I just have to
has.
take his word for it that that's a real thing.
Yeah,
You go to bars a lot?
No, I don't.
I mean, did you?
Did I?
Like, act like you're old.
I know.
forgetting
I'm
that
the
you-
age that you guys are
Yeah,
talking
Nate,
about.
you
Yeah,
guys are
Nate's
describing
16.
this distant past thing that
Yeah,
Nate's still
that's
looking
right.
forward to. One day I'll
Don't
I'll
lie,
be
man.
22.
He'll ruin everything for you.
One day
I don't know
I'll
why that was
reflect
so
on
funny.
things.
Something about the way he said that he's still looking forward to is so funny to me. But no, it's like, I mean, you have that circle of who smokes and who doesn't smoke, and you just kind of keep tabs on each other, and then somebody leaves, and then like 2 or 3 more of that same group leave. You're like, I think they're smoking weed, and they didn't invite me.
Hey, how about that? We don't know you. Please stay away from our drugs.
But I mean, you just if you're part of it, you make that eye contact and we go, oh, okay, we're gonna go out, or we're gonna go back out, and somebody lights a cigarette to cover it up and so forth and so on. So I mean, that was like my
That
whole,
works, by the way.
yeah,
One
that's,
person smoking a cigarette.
yeah, that's stoner mentality. We've totally.
No, we were smarter than that, and we were smoking weed too.
It's a circle of people standing out behind a bar smoking one cigarette together, passing it. It's very believable.
We're being economical.
The kids in high school used to do that. They would form up the little circle at lunch or before school, and I mean, it was like a chimney of smoke coming out.
Yeah.
And you couldn't smoke cigarettes either. It's school property. So, like, it was always such a, like, what do you think you're accomplishing?
I make fun of that, but I used to smoke at home when I was like his age or younger than him. You take like a toilet paper roll and put like downy sheets.
Yeah, dryer sheets. Yeah.
It's oddly elaborate.
It works.
I always thought that was always like only accomplishing, like taking care of half of the problem.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's still the.
You still have your burning. You're still burning marijuana into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
I get that now.
Yeah.
Why bother?
Why bother lighting a fucking cigarette to cover it up? That's my point. Like, I made fun of that, but I did something just as stupid.
Like smoking in the hotel room where you go in the bathroom and roll up the towel door and turn the shower on, and somebody needs to stop dropping stuff. I think that's the ice maker downstairs now. That's the one loophole we didn't expect. The ice machine downstairs.
What were you going to say?
Oh, nothing. No.
You were going to say something. I cut you off.
About high school, smoking in high school?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. I mean, I was just.
You didn't do that either?
No, I didn't do that either. No.
What did you do?
I am the worst. I'm not that I'm going to say the best person, but I just didn't do things. I'm the least interesting person ever. It makes no sense that I ever attempted comedy, because it's like.
How did I ever end up in a pantry with you people?
Yeah.
So
It's good that you're the age you are and we're the age we are, because you think it's going to get better, but we're in the same fucking room as you are.
You have grounded me a lot.
It took us into middle adulthood to work our way into this pantry.
Yeah. This is, I have struggled for 8 years in comedy to get to this pantry.
I'm doing great then by this year.
Oh yeah, man.
You're already in the pantry.
A couple of years, I'm going to be in a little bit of a nicer pantry.
You're already in the pantry. That is...
Maybe a pantry at a chain restaurant.
It took me 5 years to get
If
to the pantry.
this was an actual fraternity, we'd make you a T-shirt that says, I'm in the pantry.
Yeah.
You're drafting right behind a real pack of losers.
We're still waiting on Jeremy,
Yeah, he's probably not going to make it.
who's kind of cut about 20% of the interestingness out of this podcast,
Oh yeah.
because he's cut 100% of Jeremy out of it. So, come on, Jeremy, give us a call. Okay, apologies to Jeremy Moore. Couldn't make it in, couldn't call in. So, Jeremy, we missed you. But this has been episode 17 of ForPosterity, the podcast. Thanks to our special guests, Nate Cesco,
Thank you for having me.
Ian Nolte.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. Merry Christmas.
Thank you for having me in this pantry. Said nobody that didn't grow up in a trailer park ever.
I mean, this is the first pantry episode, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah. I'm proud to be on part of that
really
inaugural.
hoping it's going to be the last.
And last, God
Yeah.
willing.
I do.
Unless I can have a jar of these pickles, so I'll
This
come back.
could be one of the things that you do.
It doesn't need to be a
Did
thing.
you hear that
what?
podcast? It's from a pantry. It's like
They
hot.
get drunk in a pantry. At a
Pantry
bar.
podcast. That's a good hashtag.
You get, attract that pantry community.
Yeah.
People who are
It's
just
a
set up
niche
Google
audience.
alerts for pantry news.
Yeah.
And somewhere somebody will be masturbating to it.
All right.
I've been Aaron Michael Fox. With me is Eric Crusan.
That's me.
This has been ForPosterity. We'll see you next week.